And it's time to get unscrewed with Jason Bryant, unscrewed.co.nz, wine tastings in the Kiwi studio. Jason, good morning.
Good morning, Wammo.
And how's your week been?
Not too bad. How's yours? Because we missed you last week.
Yeah. But I'm back.
But you're back with a vengeance.
Looking forward to what you've brought in this morning. As well.
I've brought in a very, very unusual one that's probably going to create a lot of conversation. I haven't seen a New Zealand wine like this before. It's called Eureka, which a bit out on the name. Can you see that? Is that in shot?
It is in shot.
Yeah.
Eureka.
Eureka.
Is that the?
It's a moment, isn't it? Eureka moment.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys had. Stephen Ray.
What's the winery?
I think that's it.
It is Eureka
Yes.
wines.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's it. It's Eureka Wines, Hugh and Stephen, and they bought the grapes, hand-picked organic Sauvignon Blanc grapes. Still with the stems on, rather, because process it, you crush and destem. And you get rid of the stems early in the piece, but the stems are on, and they're left on. The grapes are left on straw mats for 5 weeks.
Okay.
And the reason why is as soon as you take the grape off the stem, you open it up to infection.
Right.
So you need the stems to be on.
Yeah.
And so they had when they were picking, they could only have 1 layer of grapes per box, so that they didn't get any crush from the top layer of grapes.
Yeah.
And they take them in, they put them on these straw mats, 5 weeks. All the sugars concentrate, so it goes from 21 bricks, which is kind of what you normally pick grapes at.
Yeah.
And it goes right away up to kind of like 30, 31.
So they dehydrate.
They dehydrate. So you get really concentrated sugar, but you don't lose the acid.
Is the straw sort of sucking out some of that liquid?
What it does, it allows air to circulate around the grape. It really does prevent any kind of botrytis, kind of infection, rot set in. So they ended up discarding about 30% of the grapes they picked. And the net result is making 900 bottles. So basically 3 barrels.
These are small bottles, though?
These are small bottles, 375 ml.
Yeah.
Yep. And also you wouldn't normally get a sweet wine with Sauvignon Blanc unless you go to Bordeaux, where you get the Sauterne, which has Sauvignon Blanc in there, but mixed with Semillon.
And the sweet wine is normally a late harvest wine as well, isn't it?
Yep. So they do it in that. They pick it later, and they wait for the botrytis or sugars to kind of go up off the scale before they pick.
This really is an experiment, isn't it?
So it's quite an old technique. They do it with Amarone grapes.
Okay.
And Amarone della Valpolicella. Basically, it's that. They get them on straw mats and they let the sugars. So you get quite a sweet wine, but it can finish quite dry.
Does the straw smell permeate like a barnyard into the wine?
No. They take them off the mats after 5 weeks, and then they destem them, and then I think they put them in oak barrels.
New oak barrels or
old oak barrels?
Okay.
And so you end up with the alcohol percentage being 11%, but you end up with 130 grams of residual sugar. So it's quite a lot. Your dentists love it, right? Because you're going to be going back time and time and time again if you keep drinking this stuff every day, right? Yeah. So it's a dentist lover of dentists.
But it is a dessert wine, so it
is a dessert wine, a sweet wine. So you can have it as an aperitif. We often confuse it.
I always think
wine.
It's after dinner.
We always think after dinner, right? Quite often after dinner you have a sherry or a port, but you can have sherry as an aperitif. And you can have sweet wine as an aperitif as well to start the meal. So technically it's a sweet wine, not a dessert wine. Right. It doesn't need to be paired with dessert. So under screw cap,
11% is also quite low for a sweet wine. Is that right? Or
you'll see it's quite a straw colour.
Well, it's still got that Sauv colouring. It's not as deep or dark as what you would imagine a sweet wine should be. Is that right?
But it's got a real kind of citrus apricot nose on it. Like for me, it just bang out the glass. It's your kind of senses, and it tells you we're here.
It's got those raisiny sort of characteristics you'd expect as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you don't smell the straw character that you thought may kind of permeate, but for me, it's real kind of vibrant, a bit of mango, those tropical fruits also apricots.
Mm.
There's a drink that Tank make, and it's like I think it's a Caribbean, and they put coconut milk in the mango and all the other.
Oh, like a lassi type. A lassi drink?
I have no idea what that is.
Kind of like a fruit sort of smoothie type.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And this is what it reminds me on the nose.
Mm.
It's vibrant, it's tropical, and I would, with that raisin character, it's pretty funky on the nose.
Mm. Wow.
You wouldn't realise that there's 130 grams of residual sugar there.
It is. It's got a long sweetness at the end.
It has, and you almost a kind of grapefruit character right at the end. If you ever have that pink grapefruit.
But it's not a powerful sweet punch at the beginning, is it? You get
but it's
more
quite,
of the
oily.
Fruit. Mm.
Yeah, and it's not and there's good acid in it as well.
Yeah.
So it's all held together.
Quite dry finish.
Yeah, you get a sweet. It's kind of a kind of off-dry, sweetish, dryish kind of finish. It's quite difficult to describe on air what the texture in that is, but it's kind of when I first taste it, you get this kind of like real kind of oodles of fruit, really oily, kind of almost kind of hints of kind of an almond kind of character with an oiliness there, and then you get kind of like the citrus, and you get the mandarin, you get a bit of the mango for me. Definitely those tropical kind of fruits come through, but then it just slides right away back. Just seamless going back. And then you get a little kick at the end.
Yeah. And as you say, there's a lot of the fruits going in there. It's a very tasty wine. I really like it.
It is tasty, and I think that's a really good descriptor. It's tasty.
Yeah, yeah. And what are they selling it at? What's the price point?
I don't know the price point, so...
what would you imagine it should be?
Given that it's pretty labour-intensive, not a
lot of care and work.
A lot of care and attention, organic grapes and everything like that. I'm probably picking $50+
Okay.
So it's a difficult wine at that price point, because I think there are a lot of people making wine, sweet wine, around that 50 price point, which are equally as good. But I like it. If it's sat between $30-$35, fantastic. Sitting at $50 may even be a bit longer, because it's 5 weeks on straw before they get to kind of ferment it. This is a labour-intensive procedure for these guys to make this wine. It may even kind of hit the $70 mark.
Yeah. They've done a great thing with the label. Anyone listening to this, just remember Eureka.
Eureka.
And if you saw this on a wine list, you're at a restaurant, and this was down there, you'd know to try this out and check it out.
Oh, I think it's definitely one to try out. I mean, you've got to try it out. I think technically it's well-made wine. I like the interest factor. I like the story behind it. I like the fact it's organic. It's my kind of wine. But I don't know the price point. I can't remember the price point off the top of my head. And only 900 bottles, so there's a kind of rarity there as well, that supply and demand thing. I think it'll do pretty well, providing the price point's right.
Great. All right. Very nice. Eureka. What is it called?
Straw wine. Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc. Very nice. Unscrewed.
2011.
Unscrewed.co.nz to see this as a video once more as well, and Jason_Bryant on Twitter as well. Thanks very much, Jason.